Hello, everyone. Hey, it's Robin from Center Street Decor. I wanted to hop on and do another painting tutorial for you today. So I hope you're all excited to paint with me. So I hope you're all having a fabulous Monday today. So I have a few quick and easy projects to you. You know, I have my shelf sitters, which I love to make. They're just so fun and quick, and most of the time they're just a quick and easy paint. So I am going to show you a new idea. Um, I mean, it's not new probably to everybody, but it's kind of a new thing to me. So we are going to be painting with the light on our mittens today. This one actually stands upside down, and so that's why this direction. So that's why the words are going that direction. So what we're going to do today is we are going to put patterned paper on our wood projects, and you are going to see how quick and easy these come together. They are so fast. You're going to love it. So this is the little mittens that I have available as an SVG file in the shop. So I have the mittens available, and they trying to think what I was trying to say. I don't even know. So the mittens have the three different sizes. So this is the small size, and then I've already painted up the medium size, and this one I had to, let's see, I stand it this way on the shelf, and so that's why you can read the words this direction. Excuse me. Okay, so this is the small and the medium, and today we're going to paint the large. We're going to talk a little bit of about the pattern paper, because you know we cut out all this fun wood with our lasers, but I don't know if you knew you can actually cut out paper. This was cut with my laser. Sorry, might need to get my water. I have a tickle in my throat. Okay, so let's talk about how you would cut pattern paper. I'm going to have to get some water. So we're going to talk a little bit on pattern paper. So for me, I have a Glowforge laser, and that's the laser that I use. But whatever laser you have, you can actually cut out the pattern paper. So what I do is, first thing first, I always put my pattern paper in the laser, and I put magnets on top because you don't want it to blow away. So, whew. Okay. So what you're going to do, obviously, when you cut wood, it's going to be at a slower speed than what you cut paper. It's going to be really fast because you don't want to start a fire. So what I do is I put my material on the 20-pound paper setting. So I'm just looking at my little notes. So, and then what I do for my cut setting, I put the speed, I up it all the way to 400. And then I put the power, I'm looking at my notes again. I put the power at 45. Now, depending on your paper, now this obviously isn't 20-pound because this is a cardstock. It's a little heavier. So you might need to adjust your power setting either up or down. And so the different type of cardstock you have, excuse me, the different type of cardstock you have, whether if it's thin, like just a thin copy paper, something that you might use in your printer, you might need to go at, your speed might need to be even faster. So what I would do is just do a couple test runs with your paper before you cut out your final project. Just cut out a small square or something, just a small shape, to make sure you have your settings. And if there's a lot of charring, you can see you need to make your speed a lot faster. So I'm not an expert at all on cutting out paper. I know it works for my machine. Like I said, you're just gonna have to tweak it, test it, just do a small little piece until you get it. So even if you look on the back, there's not any charring. Now I have done some pattern papers where there is some charring, which I can adjust the speed, but whenever I have charring on the back, I don't usually see it on the front. So if that happens, just adjust your speed accordingly. So like I said, I'm not an expert. I'm not a professional. I'm not telling you exactly how to do it with your laser. I want you to be very, very careful. And whenever I cut paper, I watch it the whole time. Like when I'm cutting wood, I don't hover over it so much, but when I cut paper, it goes really fast and I watch it. I want to make sure that I don't cause a fire or anything. So be really careful. So like I said, I'm not an expert. Okay, so I'm going to bring you down. I'm going to show you the pieces that we're going to be using for our mitten. And there we go. Okay, so these are the pieces for our chunky mitten. And so you decide how you want your chunky mitten to sit, especially when you decide how to put your tag on. So this one is going to stand at the base of the mitten. So that's how come the tag is that direction. Whereas this one, as I mentioned, is going to sit like this on my shelf. So then you can see that it will go that direction. Okay, so here are the pieces that we're going to use. Like I said, I've already cut out the pattern paper. Now I cut them out separately. I'll cut my wood and then I'll cut out the pattern paper separately, and you save on paper opposed to, I have done this in the past where I've Mod Podged the paper onto the wood and then cut out the wood and the paper. So, but then I have to get rid of any charring that I have on the top of my paper if you get charring. But this way you actually, for me, it saves paper. So then I don't have to Mod Podge a whole big piece of paper, and then I have a lot of empty space that I didn't use the pattern paper. So this works great. Okay, so for our cute little mitten, I get my little readers. I got some fun new readers at the Dollar Tree. Aren't these crazy? It's crazy and fun. I like them. Inexpensive, and I just have them all over the house. Oh, I have to get another drink. Okay, so here are the three pieces that we use for our chunky shelf sitter. So the top piece is two different pieces. So we have the base piece, we have the middle piece. We're not going to do anything with the middle piece. And then these pieces are going to go on the top. And then we're actually, the only one we're going to paint is this one. If you have some, like, if you wanted some cream colored patterned paper or a white patterned paper, even a textured patterned paper, that might be really fun to add in this area. And then this would be like a no paint project. It would be super fast. Okay, so here's our mittens, and then here's our piece. This also has a snowflake that you can add to your mitten. And then there's a tag, and then there's three different tags. Let me show you. And these are so cute. You can choose, and the tags are already cut in the three different sizes. So you have your small, medium, and large. I've done all the size setting for you. So we have Hello Winter, Baby It's Cold Outside, and Warm and Cozy. Okay, so we're going to do the Hello Winter since I did the other two on those. So we're going to set these aside. I'm going to need a little bit of painter's tape when I paint I like to use that when I'm painting small pieces. We'll just put the snowflake on there and the tag on there. Okay, so the middle piece, again, I don't do anything with it. I'm going to set it aside. The back piece, however, you know I like to finish off the back and do a little bit of, oh, I didn't even finish that one or that one, so we can finish them off today. So we'll put a little bit of burnt umber with a baby wipe on there. So we will do that. I guess I was waiting to do all three of them at the same time. Okay, but first I want to go ahead and paint this white because I want there to be time to dry. I want there to be drying time. And then on the tag, I did kind of this is a sky blue apple barrel. That's what I used on the tag right here. So if you're making up several of these for a craft fair or something, they come together so quick and easy. You could do a bunch. So I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to use a sponge. Just going to use a piece of this. Well, actually, it's the whole sponge, the whole makeup sponge. Just going to tap on here. You can swipe it just a little bit if you want. There's nothing engraved on here, so you don't need to worry about that. Sometimes I swipe it to try to get a little bit more into those grooves. Okay, let's set that aside. We're going to need another coat for that. Let's go ahead and do our sky blue. I just kind of made a mess trying to get that dried paint off there. So again, I took those same sponges and then I just cut them up into little pieces. So we're just going to use that small little piece right here. Okay, and then I'm just going to tap because this is an engraved line. I want to be really careful not to get into those lines. So I just use the smallest amount of paint and then I'm just going to tap very gently. You don't want to tap too firmly because then you're going to squish it into those engraved lines. So that's what you need to be careful with. I'm just going to go in all the different directions. And this will need probably about 2 coats. Okay. And then if you do get in any of those little score lines, just grab a poker tool or a toothpick and then just clean them out. But it looks like I did pretty good with those. So we did pretty good. I bring it a little bit closer to me. Okay. Let's let that dry. So the snowflake, I did white. It's kind of hard to see the snowflake on here because there's lots of layers with all of the greenery and stuff, but it just adds the subtlest fun chunkiness. So we've got the snowflake just hiding under here. So I am going to do that in white too, but I don't want to use this because I'm afraid I'll make a really big mess around the edge. So I am actually going to get a very small piece. Here's a small piece. And you can see I'm using my tray upside down today because, why not use the bottom of the tray? Because the other side has been used up, and instead of just throwing it away, I turned it upside down. Just utilizing it, and these are just Dollar Tree foam trays. I like to use those. And sometimes I use tin foil too. Just bouncing it on there. Okay, let me get a little bit more white, and I can do that top of that mitten again because it's already dry. Oops, I'm going to use the big one, right? Switching. So I think I can get away with just doing the 2 coats on here. And like I said, if you want to use pattern paper, like a white or a cream pattern paper, instead of painting, you can do that too. Okay. This would be our middle layer, even though I set that one aside. So this is the one. Oh, you know what? I don't know what I'm thinking. Never mind. Never mind. That one we're going to put some paint on the back. Okay, so this is the one we're going to Mod Podge our paper on. Okay, so you can use Mod Podge. That's what I like to use. Just some Mod Podge. And then I just use a paintbrush. So what I like to do is just put the Mod Podge on to the wood. Just do a nice thin coat. But you don't want it to dry too quick by doing a thin coat. So just go over it quite quickly. In all the directions. Get the corner edges too. Okay. So when you feel that you have good coverage on there, then just take your paper and place it on here. Now I did find with the laser that my paper is just the slightest bit larger than my wood, because of course when you're doing the laser, more wood gets taken off than the paper. I don't even know if that makes sense, but so the paper is probably just the slightest bit larger. Okay, so I'm going to lay this on here really good. I'm just going to see that corner edge is, make sure your corner edges are down as well. Okay, so I can go ahead and glue this onto the middle layer right here. You can actually, yeah, I'm going to do that first. I'm going to glue that onto there. Let me grab my stick fast. And then I'll turn this piece over, add the glue to that. We're just going to match it up. Okay, just look around all the edges and line everything up. And once I get it lined up, then I'll put some firm pressure on. You got a few seconds to work with the stick fast. Once everything feels good, and then give a firm pressure and hold it on there. Okay, so now what you'll want to do is I like to add Mod Podge to the top of the paper. I do that because I like to do a little bit of shading on the top of my paper, and plus I think it just adds that little extra something that you need. So just add a nice bit of Mod Podge on there. So I'm just giving it like a quick layer overall. And then what I like to do is kind of go in the same direction. So when it dries, it creates, the lines are all going in the same direction. Plus it smooths out if you have any thick areas. And then just kind of take a peek. Okay, now just set that aside and let that dry. And I have some water here that I'm just putting my paintbrush into, just to clean off that Mod Podge so it doesn't dry in there. Okay, set that aside. So once this is dry, we're going to do a little bit of shading, and it's still a little bit damp. I can feel it's a little damp, but let's add some more paint to these over here. Let's add some more to our snowflake. And when I add my little bits and pieces, like my pieces of greenery, and then I'm using some white berries on the mitten. I use hot glue to add those little pieces. Now remember, just a light touch, a very light touch, so you don't squish into those engraved letters. Okay, so we're going to add a little bit of shading to these. We're going to add a little bit of shading to that snowflake as well. Okay, this is getting there. I don't have my heat tool plugged in because I have my glue gun plugged in. And then I have my light up here above me plugged in. So I need to get another plug in or something so I can do the glue gun and the heat tool, because I need a little bit. I think what I'll do is unplug the glue gun for just a second. And then we'll plug it in. Okay, heat tool. Okay, now let me really quickly plug my glue gun back in. Okay, I think that'll work. Okay, so let's do a little bit of the shading. I like to use the burnt umber. That's what it's kind of my go-to for my shading. So I'm just going to shade this piece, and I'm also going to shade my tag, my cute tag. Just putting just the corner of my paintbrush in there. And you don't have to do the shading on your projects if you don't want to. So something I kind of like to do. This one, it just kind of gives it a little bit more of an antique look. I'm not sure what happened there. A lot of the paint came off, but we'll go over it again. And then I'm just going to go squiggle around the edges. Okay, set that aside. Now I'll do the edges of my tag. And then I did a little bit of highlighting on the snowflake, but I used the blue. But we're just going to touch just the tips. I'll pick up some of this blue here. And then we're just going to go across the tips. Because if you do some greenery on it, most of your snowflake will be hidden anyway, but this just adds a fun little texture to it. Okay. Okay. I want to do a little bit of shading on this as well. Well, yeah, shading. I'm doing shading, so I'm doing more of the darker color. So I'm just going to go around the edge, just kind of quickly. feel like I have plenty of water, so I'm just picking up a little bit more paint. Okay, I'm happy with that. I think that looks good. Okay, so now we're just going to add this piece right on here. Okay, so you're just going to put the puzzle together. This one's easy to fit together. It just fits just where it's supposed to fit. Okay, now we're ready to do all of our fun accessories. So let's get our tag ready. So our tag, I'm going to add just a bit of this twine here. I'm going to move our paints out of the way so I don't stick my arm in it. Okay, I like to have plenty of string to work with. And then I like to add a few ribbons. So we're going to use this blue. And then I love to do lace ribbon. This is just a lace ribbon from the Dollar Tree, and I love to use it. I used it a lot on my fall projects. So I'm just going to put the string through there, tie it on there. So now I'm going to take my pieces of ribbon and I'm just going to lay it across those two strings I just tied. And then I'm going to tie a knot just to get them all together. I just bunch it up quite tightly. So tie a knot on there. And then I'll give it a little bit of a haircut. And you can keep it as long or as short as you like. And I usually cut them at a nice angle. Okay, before we finish accessorizing this, I wanted to do I'm going to come back to my paint because I forgot to do the backs. I want to give the backs that, that nice coat. So it kind of gives it a finished look. I like to use a baby wipe, and I use the brown burnt umber paint, and I've got a little bit right here still. I'll probably need to get more, but let me just show you how we're going to do this. So I'm just going to rub it all over the back. Okay, just kind of give it a kind of just a finished look. That's all I'm going for. Let's do, this is the back piece on this one. And I'm going to need a little bit more paint. Let's get our burnt umber. Because I'm just using a baby wipe and the baby wipe is damp, it dries pretty quickly on here, but I want to get this done so that I can add it all together with our mitten once we get there. And just keep rubbing. Just move that paint where you want it to go. Okay, set that aside and let it dry. Let's do this one. That's all I do. I'm going to keep it upside down a little bit. I should turn that one upside down so it can dry. Okay, now I'm going to move my paints again out of the way. And now we can do our accessory. That is the fun part, right? When you're adding all the fun details. And that's what I like to add with my project, all the fun details. So we've got our snowflake, and then we have our tag. But first of that, decide how you want it to lay on your shelf. If you want it to lay upside down, then you'd want to put your tag upside down. So decide how you want to do that. I'm trying to see if that's dry enough that we can, yeah, let's go ahead and glue that on there. Because otherwise it might not be quite as easy to get all of those accessories on there and then glue this together. You can still do it, of course. I probably have done that before too. Okay, so for that third piece, just line everything up. And I just usually feel with my fingers. And then once everything is where I feel it needs to be, and then I'll hold that glue, because every once in a while you get a warped piece of wood and you really need to hold it then. It will glue together really well, but you just sometimes have to hold it if it's kind of warped. This one doesn't feel like it is warped, but I still like to hold it firmly just so that glue can adhere. Okay. So that's it. Actually, let's clean up the edges too. I keep saying we're going to add the accessories, and then I'm like, oh, one more thing. So this is just a paint marker. It's actually a furniture marker from the Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to clean up just some of those edges just a little bit. Just see how I get a little bit of the paint over that. So I just want to clean it up. Just so it cleans it up a little, especially if you're selling these at your craft fairs. You will want to have nice clean look on your projects. Okay, now I can decide how I want these. So this one is that direction, and this one that is that direction. So yeah, I think I will do not upside down. I think I'm going to go just in the same direction as this one here. So I want my tag so that I can read it. So, and I think I'll go more in this center area. So I've just got some greenery here. This is nothing fancy. It's just some greenery that I have from I don't know, I've had it for years. So whatever kind of greenery that you have will work great. I really don't need wire cutters for this greenery, but I do use the wire cutters when I cut these little balls, because this is a wire holding all that together. And I usually use a couple of those. So we'll cut those. So first thing first is I'm going to glue my snowflake on. We're going to glue there. And I will use the wood glue, or the stick fast, the super glue. Just decide where you want to put it. And then this is the last thing that I'll do. And I will add a little bit of a riser, which means just a piece of wood to lift up that tag. And I just have a little cup of just different little pieces here. Okay, we're going to add our greenery. So those pieces I don't need. So if I want my tag to lay this way, just kind of think of how you want your greenery to go. Just going to add a little glue to that riser. I'll put it to the edge of my tag. And it's just going to lift it off of, it's only just lifting off the mitten. So it's not like, I don't know if you can see with this one. If I hold it up at the right angle, you can see it's raised off of the mitten. But you can, if you want to do it right against it, you can. Right against them. And I just like to raise them a little bit. Okay, this is where I'm going to use my glue gun. So just going to add just some glue blobs wherever I think. And this hot glue will melt this plastic greenery too. And I usually will stick and I might need a longer one. That one's kind of short. So we're going to lay it like this. So I'll put some wood glue on there. And I'm actually going to add some hot glue to the top of this area. And just lay it on here, just adding your accessories. And then put your mitten how you want it. And then if you need to turn your tag a little bit, you can. Okay, I'm just going to hold it. See, it's coming together really cute, isn't that? So fun. So you can see how the snowflake's a little bit hidden, but it just adds a fun little accessory piece behind there. Just a cute little piece. Okay. And then I'm going to add my berries in there. Just kind of decide where I want them. Yeah, I don't think this one's too short. I think it's going to be good. I add a little bit of glue on there, and then I'll put it in. This one might be too long, actually. Yeah, let's trim this one just a little bit. Okay. A little bit of hot glue in there. Just let it hold in place. And that's it, you guys. That is our mitten. It's all put together. What do you think? I think it turned out really, really cute. I love it. So now I have a set of the 3 mittens together. The large and the medium. And then here is the small size. So you can compare all the sizes. And they'll look so cute. And I have my decorated shelf, my hutch that I decorate, that I still need to get my fall decorations in there, but here they are. They're so cute. I think they turned out really, really cute. So fun, you guys. Look at my crazy green glasses. I know, they're crazy. I think the sides are really fun, though. Anyway, I hope you had a good time. If you are catching this on the replay, just click hashtag replay and let me know you watch this. But like I said, this little mitten is so quick and so easy. I think they are just so fun. So later today, I'm actually going to paint the cocoa mugs too. I know, 2 lives in one day. But this is the cocoa mug, and this one has all these cute little berries and greenery on there. So this is the large cocoa mug, and this is the small cocoa mug. So you can see, trying to get it all in frame. So you can see the large and the small. So we are going to paint those later today. I'm going to paint the medium one. Got the large and the small painted, and I'll show you the pattern paper that we're going to put on that too. It's really fun. So anyway, I hope you had a great time hanging out with me as we painted our fun little mitten. Anyway, I hope you will paint these mittens. I think they will be a great hit at your craft fairs. But I hope you all have a fantastic day, and we will talk to you later. Bye.